Welcome to the Happy Humanoid's Perspective, where your beliefs are challenged, thoughts provoked, and where you may find your happy place whether you like it or not.
And here are your hosts, Edith and Miles.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Woohoo! Welcome to our show, guys. We are the Happy Humanoids, broadcasting live from 2 different countries and not our homeland. Your previous homeland, but you have a new homeland now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're in Chicago and I'm in Quebec.
That's true.
Yeah.
Never get so lucky as that.
Yeah. We are great creators, I believe.
Yes, we are.
So tonight, well, I am Edith Paul, certified access facilitator, consciousness.
Yes. Well, hello, Edith Paul Access, certified consciousness facilitator.
And I have the pleasure to be with my sweet and tender husband.
Sweet and tender. Hello, I'm Miles, and Miles Kiefer, and I'm also a certified access. How did you say it? Well, anyway,
I don't even know how I could say it.
We're both glad to be here, and we have some interesting topic tonight, and it probably won't apply to anyone out there. We're just doing this because we,
just for us.
Just for us, yeah, just for us.
Just for us, just for fun, never tell anyone.
No, but we're going to tell us more than anyone. We're going to tell people.
Yeah.
So the topic tonight is called Addiction to the Wrongness of You. And this is podcast number 44.
Yep.
There's a lot to talk about with that. So let's begin.
Yeah.
You want to go or shall I?
What do you have to say about that?
Well, I have to say that there's that it is an addiction because it is so much prevalent, I guess, or active, or visible, tangible, real in this reality about the wrongness of us, the wrongness of you, acting from the wrongness, creating, not really creating, but I guess creating some kind of a life from wrongness. It's like it's building, or not, it's creating from a foundation of wrongness. It's not a platform, it's something solid, it's something that doesn't change, it doesn't create expansion, it doesn't add any contribution to our life, or if it does, let's explore what that is today. So it's really about the way that we keep ourselves addicted to being wrong, and how that limits what we are choosing and creating or not creating. So everywhere that we are addicted, and we think of addiction as something that is with drugs or alcohol or some other thing that's outside of us, you destroy and uncreate all of the ideas and points of view and conclusions about what addiction is and how it shows up in your life. Please.
Mm-hmm. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all 9 shorts, boys and youngs. Yeah, it seems like in this reality, the wrongness of us seems to be something more acceptable to do with ourselves than acknowledge ourselves and being present to us. And yeah, because often it could be seen as being pretentious with ourselves,
right, yeah.
It seems,
I was just going to say that it's a way in which we can communicate, and it's accepted. We can talk about the things that aren't going right for us, or that our limitations, or some barriers that we're putting in front of ourselves. And that's a natural conversation that I hear every day. But if we're talking about the great qualities that we have and what we're creating, that's great. If people are not on board with creating their own life and discovering their own greatness, it's not something that's accepted or welcome. It's like you said, it's pretentious, that it's something that oh, that person is just so full of themselves. You know, it's not accepted at all, and making them wrong for choosing something greater than the wrongness is a validation. It's something that
Mhm.
acknowledged and accepted in its reality. So please continue.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all about, you know, and we identify ourselves. And I know I was like this. I I was listening to someone who had problem in their life, and it was like, okay, I am the same. I am like that person. I have that. So which means I'm not so bad.
Right.
Or if someone has, you know, chose to not be going into that path of wrongness of them, and you really to choose whatever is right, not right, but what is true for them,
Yeah.
and to move along this path. While in this reality, we're going to say, well, he's lucky or she is lucky,
Hmm.
or of course, she has everything. She has everything around her to be in that space, instead
Right.
of, yeah, acknowledging that, hey, what if the person just chose something different than the wrongness of her or him
Right.
about that? So yeah, so everywhere you look for comfort in your life with
Hmm.
yourself, and by uh, with this desire, you compare yourself to others, and you compare yourself to the wrongness of you
Hmm.
and the wrongness of others, and try to find a comfort in this process. Well, you know, and create and destroy it all times a gazillion.
Hmm. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, I wanted to add something. I forgot what I was going to say, but something about what you said about it's like there's this comfort in that, like you were saying, that it's more like a common thread. It's something that we, like you said, that we can recognize ourselves in that, and it's like a way in which that in this reality that we bond. And it's like the what I want to say was everything is the opposite of what it appears to be. And why did I want to say that was because um, what was it? It was something about the way that we think that we're. Oh, I'm not sure what it was now. Maybe I'll remember that in a minute. So yeah, everywhere that we're, like you said, using this bond or the lowest common denominator of creating as a way to relate and a way to fit in and to feel like we belong. We destroyed and create all that times gazillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah, I want to say something else too about trying to fit in, because it's like I'm in Chicago here. I'm doing this class, this ongoing class, and it's about being on stage. It's about performing, and what greater place to see the wrongness of me and the wrongness of other people, and when we're in front of people and performing and like having an audience, and there's like this sort of natural critiquing about who's on stage, and like the focus is on the person on stage. And I've talked to a couple of people today, and it's interesting how that's such a common reality for people, that it's just common knowledge to either make ourselves wrong or make ourselves wrong for not, or trying to make ourselves fit into a reality that doesn't work. I was talking to this one girl from the class. She was getting ready to go on the bus, and public transportation is lovely in Chicago. You get to get familiar with a lot of smells that you maybe wouldn't normally get to smell. It's just really lots of fragrances that maybe you wouldn't have in your house and or in your automobile. It's like a plethora of different aromas, and they're just continuing to fill the bus and just give opportunities to contemplate the wonders of big city. So I was talking to this young lady, and she was saying that I was asking her how her training was going in the classes, and she said that she um, didn't fit in. You know, she was like wanting to fit in. She told me, she goes, well, she wants to fit in with people, and it's just not happening, and how she was she's a total humanoid and like out there. She remembers, like I talked to her the first day, and she doesn't forget anything. She remembers names of people, places, events. She's one of those people that have like not a photographic memory, but just I've heard of a couple of famous people that just can remember the everything about their life. They can tell you what day this event happened, what the person said. So this is her capacity. And she said that in the group that that she feels like she doesn't really belong. And I was like, hey, what if that's your capacity? And she really didn't want to hear that. She was like, yeah, I guess so. But I said, no, really. It's like, what if what you have to offer is something that is of great contribution to other people around you, and instead of trying to make yourself small or fit into the reality of where they're keeping their self, or trying to keep yourself limited to fit some very limited, like non-expansive reality, what if it's a capacity? And she like, oh, okay, and maybe. I said, what would it take for you to have the awareness that could be an advantage to you? And I said, and the truth of it is that you may never fit in. I said, none of us really fit in, even though that we think there's this club that at some point that we're going to fit in. We're not. I don't fit in. I was talking to you Edith, about this. I don't feel like I fit in. I'm around 150 other humanoids. Basically, I don't fit in. I just don't. And it's just bizarre. We go to such a unique and sort of like that attracts humanoids and attracts this sort of group. And I still don't fit in, and neither does this other girl. So there's no club that we fit into. It's just that we have to fit into the club of not fitting in. That's our club. It's like acknowledging that we have these capacities that not everyone has. We all have these different capacities. So what would it take for us to acknowledge the capacity that we have and to let go of this addiction to the wrongness, because it's so seedy. It's like it's just so thick in this reality. So everything that is, we please destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, bows and youngs. Yeah. In this reality, it's about being like others. Huh?
Right.
In this reality, it's like, as you say, to fit in, or to fit in a certain way of living, a certain way of thinking, a certain way of behaving.
Yeah.
All of that is outside of us.
Yep.
Does that acknowledge who we truly be? No, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And we believe that in this reality, we believe that, okay, if I judge myself enough, mm-hmm. if I force myself enough, I will try to be like others.
Yeah.
And what if it's not about that? What if it's more about, hey, what is it? What's right about me here that I'm not getting? What is my difference here? Mm-hmm. And in this difference, what if this difference is what is required in this reality to create the change first in your own life and to create the change around you that you want to see on this planet?
Yeah.
So there is this kind of craziness of thinking that if we judge ourselves enough, if we try to squeeze ourselves enough, to fold ourselves enough, that we're finally going to be able, one, to be happy, to be like others, to succeed in a certain way. What if there's another way to succeed in your life? And what if there was another way for you to be happy, other than trying to contract yourself, repress yourself? Yeah, what if there's really another way to do this?
Yeah.
And what if, it's not the way. If you want to be happy, if you want to succeed in your life, if you want to succeed in life and in your life, what if it's about, acknowledging you, acknowledging what you know, acknowledging what you know that is possible, acknowledging your dreams, acknowledging what these, because what makes us become addicted to one of the things addicted to the wrongness of us is it's about the supermind. The supermind will always put ourselves in doubt. The supermind will always tell you that you are wrong. The supermind, it's like, how would you explain the supermind?
It's not like Superman. Superman.
No, it's more like
Anti-Superman.
it's more like the collective consciousness. The supermind, it's like that controls everyone and everything on this planet. Yeah, let's put it this way for now. And so it creates doubt. It creates sense that something is going to be wrong if it's not already wrong. So it's always about never acknowledging who you truly be. So, and thanks to Access, that gives us tools. And this, it's not a mantra, but one of the phrase of Access is empowering people to know that they know.
Yeah.
You know what will make you happy. What if it's about trusting this? What if it's about allowing you to go onto that path? And that's the thing, when we allow ourselves to go on this path of our dreams, of what we know that is possible, it's like there's nothing, we have to create everything for that. There's nothing in place. Usually we have to create that. We have to choose it every day. We have to ask questions. We have to follow the likeness, and it brings us in a space totally different. And that space, well, for me, I'm living it more and more, and it is so much more comfortable, I could say, so much more light, so much more fun to be in that space than keeping myself in the wrongness of me and keeping myself in the in the doubt and all that. So everywhere you believe the lie of doubting, well, no, it's not that. When you doubt of yourself, if you doubt of yourself, follow the likeness here. Don't go into the, what I'm inviting you here is, don't listen to this doubt. Don't create and destroy it, because it's a distractor implant. So this doubt that I have right now, I am create and destroy it all. And then right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, online shorts, pros and beyonds. And this way, you will be able to see more clearly about that. How many times in your life did you stop yourself because you were doubting? What if it's time now to say, hey, the doubt won't lead my life anymore. I am the one who's choosing. And it's about, because you are the one who's choosing. Even if the doubt is there and you let the doubt take the space, lead, while you choose to let it choose to lead the space. So everywhere you believe that the doubt was true. Yeah. Wow. Well, and create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. By the way, you look very beautiful tonight.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I want to say, as long as we function from this reality of what addiction means and buying into this whole thing of addiction, and addiction is really, it's like, it's the of all of the addictions, the primary addiction is the one that we are wrong. Yeah, that's the one that is like, that's the one that is like the root of the weed that spreads all over the yard. The one mother uh, queen bee root. That's what it is. It's like this idea that we're wrong and we buy into that. And Gary says that um, if we're addicted to something, that we have entities. So that voice that is telling us that we're wrong, yeah, maybe those are entities. Because he says anyone that has addictions its entities are involved. So it's not just about drugs and alcohol or tobacco or whatever that is. It's and like I said, the primary addiction is the wrongness of you, the wrongness of me, the wrongness that we put on ourselves. So all of the entities that are creating the wrongness all the entities that we have invited into our life as a way to try to create a life of ease, and we've created a life of I don't want to say dis-ease, but a life of unease. Um, uh, like what is it?
Truth.
Truth, who were you? Truth, who were you before that? 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 Return to sender. Return to from which you came, never to return to this reality or our bodies ever again. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. So anytime that you feel that you've got some voice in your head telling you the wrongness of you, you can maybe run the entity clearing.
Yeah.
Do something different.
Interesting enough, you added the demon clearing as well.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
I'm liking that.
Yeah. So you have a 2-for-1
Yep.
in this one.
It's 2 for Tuesday.
Yeah. I look on the internet for the definition of what is an addiction. And they say a strong and harmful need to regularly have something, which means like drugs, or do something like gamble or being in the wrongness of you, judge you. So it's a need. It became a need. So all these entities and demons that are in place, that maintain in place this need to judge you, do you want them to leave now?
I think that's a good idea, yes.
Yeah. So for the entities, truth, who are you? Truth, were you before that? Were you before that? It is time for you to leave now. Who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Were you before that? Who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Who were you before that? Thank you so much for your contribution. It's time for you to leave. Truth, who were you before that? Truth, who were you before that? Truth before that? Truth before that? Truth, who will you be in the future? So may all you leave with your luggage and your electromagnetic imprinting of all kind, right, wrong, bad, papa, all nine shorts, bows, and beyonds, for the demon. Return to from whence it came, and never to return to us, our bodies, or into this reality ever again. Return to from whence you came, and never to return to us, our body, or into this reality or this planet ever again. Return to from whence you came, and never to return to us, our bodies, into this reality and this planet ever again. Return from whence you came, and never to return to us, our body, this reality, or this planet ever again. So may all you leave with your luggage and your electromagnetic imprinting of all kind, right and wrong, good and bad, fucking pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
I'm wondering, I bet they don't have as nice as luggage as you have. So they're probably returning with the old beat up luggage that's from like Sears and Roebuck. It's ripped and one wheel's not working. It's torn off. Please take that luggage too. We don't want that. Also, I want to touch on the idea that when those voices or those demons or entities are present, or when we're in this space of, let's say, heavy judgment, I wonder if that's a space in which we have the a grand and glorious possibility to choose something different. Because when we're like just sort of cooking through life and not really making big choices, and we're just sort of like moving along, everything's fine. We don't seem to have the voices, or maybe they are, but they're not maybe as strong. They're just more like keeping us in this space of smallness. But when we begin to ask for something greater and to be something more expansive and to desire more for who we are and be more of a contribution, I think those voices become louder. I think, like, for example, being on stage, being around a lot of people and performing with these people and critique. We did like a one person stand up, not stand up comedy, but we did a one person scene work today, which is about, anyway. So there's like everyone was like watching everyone else, and there's this space of possibility to become vulnerable and to allow the judgments and to allow everyone's points of view to exist, and to still choose something, and to still trust that something's going to show up. And like today we did a scene, and it was basically just start with nothing and you see where the scene goes. And I had nothing, just was like waiting and waiting, and something finally came at the appropriate time, not the right time, but just a time that it worked really well. And up until that point, I didn't have anything. I didn't know where I was going to go with the scene. It was a silent scene. We basically just had to be on stage and then just go with the energy. That's not the way they said it, but that's the way I interpreted it, until the thing presented itself, and then go from there. And I was probably on stage for maybe 3 or 4 minutes and said nothing, did very little, but I still had that trust that something was going to show up and it was going to be okay. And it was. And and all of the voices that I had on stage that were telling me that, okay, I need to do something, I need to find something to say, I need to like fill the space with something, like whatever. I just allowed myself to lower my barriers and be judged, and just to trust that something was going to show up, and it did. So what would it take for us to be in this space of choosing something greater for ourselves and for this, and as for a contribution, and have the willingness and the desire to do whatever it takes to lower our barriers, to accept the judgments, to have what we desire. And everything that doesn't allow this and that, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion.
Mm-hmm. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nine shorts, bows and beyonds. Maybe to put you in reference, Miles is studying in improv.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
To put people in the context of it. Yeah. So what if it's about, to choose to be yourself, stop judging you, is to be different, to begin to put yourself in a space, as you did today,
Mm-hmm.
to put yourself in a space where you have never gone before, you have never been before in that kind of space. What if it's about that? Stop judging you and allow yourself to be in a certain way and choose something for you in that space, at that moment. What if it's about that? And another way for you to know if it's entities who's talking to you, they will talk in you. You are like this. You must do something. You should do something. There's a you. There's always that for the entities. And I invite you to ask question. Okay, when I hear that, what does that create in my universe? Does that create a contraction? Does that create an expansion? Does that create an heaviness or a lightness? So if it's an heaviness or a contraction, it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not true. And this is one of the tools of access. If it's light and there's expansion, this is because it is true for you. So these things that you hear in your head, this language, these conversations that are there, these messages that you receive, ask yourself, is it light? Does that bring lightness into my life, or does that create like more like an heaviness, or does that bring a contraction, or does that bring an expansion? So if it's a contraction and an heaviness, it's because it's a lie. It's not true. What you hear is not true about you. So it's all about I destroy and uncreate that. And if there are entities, say the verbal process about that, and that we just said before for the entities, and you will instantaneously, it will disappear. Well, most of the time. This language will disappear. Of course, there will be others that it will come back again and again. And I invite you, hey, it's a choice. What do I do with this? Do I continue to fight that, or do I choose to just destroy and create whatever is there? Because now you have the tools, you can do it. It's not about trying to fight, because that's, well, you can do it this way if you desire. Yep. That could be so much easier doing it differently. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everywhere you thought that it's by fighting these voices that you will get where you desire to go with ease. And you will create ease in your life through that fight. Well, uncreate and destroy all kinds of gods. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and puck on a short sport. Yes. Yeah, I think what you said was really great. Just a simple tool is like, if it feels light, if there's some voice or some comment that you are listening to, whether it's in your head or outside, and it doesn't feel good, then just acknowledge it for what it is. Like, it's just energy, that's someone's point of view or some entity, and then move on and create the space to allow yourself to have that freedom to be vulnerable and to receive that with no point of view. So everything doesn't allow you to receive all the information, all the judgment with no point of view. Destroy and uncreate all that time. It's got zillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, 9 shorts, bows and beyonds. Hey, wow, we could talk about that for hours and days.
We could do that.
Yeah.
I
You what?
I got stuff to do.
You've got stuff to do?
Yeah, I can't be talking here for days on the wrongness of us. I used to do that all day anyway, so why would I want to talk about it on the
Yeah, so cool. Well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and please give us a honk of support by subscribing, commenting, and sharing the show with your friends. Or, if you didn't like the show, please share it with your enemies. More like a dolphin, but...
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.